boxes. And who determines what those boxes are? You do. These are your life goals. These are your business goals. And when you start a business, your business and your life become one. It's different when you have a job. Like your job is that over there and them people over there, but your business is an extension of you. So your goal should be comprehensive and should be definitive of where you as an individual want to go and in relation to where you want your business to go, right? So, in order to be successful, I have 4 E's for you, right? You have to have your environment in check, right? So, what does your environment look like? What do you feel good in it? Do you have things in your home or in your space that inspire you? Is it cluttered? Is it dusty? Is it making you not feel good? Right? You can't be successful and productive if you don't feel good where you are. Everyday activity. That's your second E. What are you doing every day to make yourself feel good? Do you exercise? Do you stretch? Do you eat well? Do you walk? What does your self care look like? What are the everyday things that you do, the habits that you perform daily that help you achieve whatever your goals are? Evolution. Now, this is a little bit harder to define, but if you journal, if you're documenting your progress, if you're documenting your day to day, and you take a look back at some of the things that you document, are you seeing a difference in who you were then and who you are now? Are you considered the higher self to yourself 10 years ago? Right? So you have to evolve, you have to transition, you have to grow, you have to remove the veil of ignorance. And this is a lifelong thing that you just have to do. And then emotional control. Now, let me tell y'all something. Emotional control, I think, is actually the hardest thing. And I think it's actually the biggest key to being successful because we have been pre-programmed since childhood to respond a specific way when certain things happen. So, for example, do you get angry when you see the color red? Right? Like when people put certain things on the TV screen, they tend to be red and they tend to be indicative of like anger. Do you actually get angry? Is anger triggered when you see the color red? Right? Um, and the other thing is your emotions should also be a compass, right? Your emotions should be telling you if you're moving in the right direction, if you're in a place where you don't feel comfortable. Like, have you ever been around somebody that you knew you shouldn't been around? It's your emotions that tell you that give you that indication. But if you're in a space where like you have this feeling of anger because you saw the color red, but you know you're confused as to whether it's because you saw the color red or if it's because you're supposed to be um a guide for you to let you know that you're not supposed to be there. You won't be able to discern that. So you have to have control over your emotions so you can identify when they're telling you if you're moving in the right direction, and not allow certain external forces to trigger you. So those are the 4 E's for success. So you have to get control of all 4 of those things, and I can almost guarantee you'll be successful. So why do we need goals? I think it's 8 reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 reasons why we need goals. Number 1, goals help you push forward, right? Like, how do you move forward if you don't know where you're going? If you don't have goals in place and set up for you, that means you're walking haphazardly in circles. Like, have you ever been like on a hike or, in the woods or something like that, and you're just walking, and usually there's a path, right? And that path lets you know if you're moving forward. If that path wasn't there, you just be walking in a direction. You probably need a compass to help discern which direction you're moving, but you got to know where you're going. You got to know which way is forward. So you're not choosing just anything. Goals are also the first step to accountability. What are you being accountable to? They be like, be accountable, right? But what are you being accountable to? And sometimes you don't even have people to hold you accountable all the time. Sometimes you got to hold yourself accountable. So, how do you do that? You set the goals and you achieve those goals. And that's how you set yourself accountable. Goals are also the definition for success. That's the third thing. It's the definition for success. You define success. Your definition of success is very different from my definition of success. So therefore, my goals have to be different from your goals. The things that I want to achieve in my lifetime, my big aspirations, my big dreams are very different from your big dreams. Why are you in cannabis? Why did you choose the cannabis industry? I bet you the reason why you chose this industry is very different than the reason why I chose this industry. So therefore, where you're going will likely be a lot different than where I'm going. And then goals inform your actions. What did you do today? What are you doing today? And why are you doing it today? If you have goals in place, you know why you're doing what you're doing. You're just not moving in circles again, right? Goals also support your priorities. You have to be able to discern what's important to you in a moment and what's not. And that goes to setting boundaries and all those kind of things, letting people know what you're doing, why they can't do what you don't want them to do to you or whatever. But if you have goals, then it supports the priorities and therefore you relieve the guilt. And then your goals also communicate meaning. Meaning to people, other people outside of yourself. So one of the things that I struggled with in my business, especially early on, is communicating why I was important and communicating why cannabis nursing solutions needed to exist. So one of the things that came out of really just thinking about this is defining my mission and vision. So I'm going to share it here with you today because I think that's something that I didn't do a really good job of in the beginning, is really letting people know what my mission and vision are. So my vision is to shift the perspectives of healthcare by empowering healthcare providers, which is probably you, to become change agents through solutions that is inclusive of spiritual, mental, and holistic healing practices. So for a long time, I identified as simply a cannabis nurse, and there's nothing wrong with that. But my vision was way bigger than that. And I wasn't staying true to what that vision was early on in my business. I was so in love with the plant, like everybody else was, but it had more to do with shifting those perspectives in healthcare. And then my mission is to provide awareness of the evolution of healthcare, right? So healthcare needs to evolve. We have lived through a pandemic. We are living in terrible working conditions in a lot of cases. We are being told to do things that just simply aren't safe. And how do I provide awareness? I do it through books and speaking engagements. So Stigmatized will be out in 2022. Through speaking engagements, which I will be at the Black Nurses Week conference in the summer of 2022, while also providing healthcare providers with the support they need through training, coaching, and networking, and also various opportunities. So a big part of my service to healthcare, the industry, is to provide support to the providers that offer healthcare and wellness services. That means nurses, LPNs, that means nurse practitioners, that even means physicians and physical therapists where needed. And it's through training. So I offer the training course that offers contact hours for all healthcare professionals through coaching. So in the near future, I will be offering group coaching sessions, networking through my Monday meetups at 7 p.m. and then other various opportunities. So if I have a patient that might need a nurse practitioner, if I have an engagement that comes up that might be a better fit for a particular nurse in a specific industry or with specific expertise, providing them with those opportunities to achieve their personal and entrepreneurial goals. A lot of us healthcare providers do not have any experience in entrepreneurship. We don't know what it means to run a business. We don't understand how expansive you have to be in order to run the business. And we don't even understand how it intermingles with our personal goals as well. So that is part of what my goal is. And I have steps to achieve my mission and vision. And so, yes, that is me communicating the meaning of my goals. The last two is goals are to track progress. How do you know how far you made it if you aren't keeping track of the goals that you've achieved? Just ask yourself that. And then to boost morale. I know a lot of people talk about motivation and having trouble staying motivated. I struggle with that as well, especially with a lot of my work being online, because it is based on my own personal discipline. But every day I get up knowing that I have some big goals to accomplish. And in order to do them, I got to do what I got to do today in order to get to where I'm going to get to tomorrow. So what types of goals are there? There are a lot of different types of goals, but I specifically broke this up into two types of goals, right? You got impact goals and you have financial goals. So here are some questions to ask about in order to figure out what your impact goals are. Where do you want to make a difference? Where do you want to make a difference? Who do you want to be a hero for? So a lot of times, and I know this was true for me, a lot of times you want to be a hero for yourself, but it isn't really even yourself that you're trying to be a hero for. It's the person who's walking the same path that you were walking in a specific point in time that you actually want to be a hero for. So who is that person? Describe yourself at the time when you needed a hero, and you'll be able to identify who you're trying to be a hero for. What problems do you want to solve? How many people do you want to touch? So sometimes we're supposed to have small groups of people. We're supposed to have large groups of people, right? So one of the things that I realized early on is that I actually thrive in small groups or like one-on-one type of settings. So I literally created my business to make it so I can thrive in what I do best, right? And then what is it that you want to accomplish 3 years from now? 3 years from now, what do you want to accomplish? What is the impact that you would have had? And where is that going to take you? What is today going to be a springboard for 3 years from now, right? So that's how you figure out what your impact goals are. And then your financial goals. A lot of times we don't even want to talk about finances, but as far as I'm concerned, finances are an extension of who you are too, right? So, and especially as a nurse, being a nurse is one of the most like self-sacrificing professions out there. And it literally becomes a habit to worry more about other people than yourself, which I mean, really myself. So a lot of times I would forfeit my own personal financial goals as a means to help somebody else. So take some real time digging into financial goals, okay? Like don't overlook it because it's important. What do you want to do financially? What is it that you want to make? So for me, I want 350K by 7/22/22, right? Like I want my business to bring in that type of money. That's what we gonna do this year, right? And I'm not scared to say it. What rooms do you want to be in? That is important. The rooms, the rooms that you're in clearly will define the amount of money that you make. If you're in $1,000,000 rooms, you'll likely be pushed by $1,000,000 people to achieve $1,000,000 goals. Where are you? Who's sitting next to you? What rooms are you in? Are you sitting in rooms with people that's not making no money, doing stuff for free all the time? Think about it. And then how do you plan to use your success to achieve your aspirations? Now, I'm going to say this too. Some people don't need $1,000,000 goals. Some people want to live in a treehouse in the middle of nowhere and able to live off of $1,000 a month, right? Like you don't need a whole lot of clothes. You don't need a fancy car. You don't need a fancy house. You don't need that. Maybe that's where you're supposed to be. Those are your aspirations, right? So what success look like for you is going to be different from the person who wants $1,000,000 home, wants the flyest, fanciest Porsche, whatever. But you have to have a plan for the finances that are attracted to you, because otherwise they'll slip right through your fingers and you won't even know they came. And then what does it look like? I kind of talked about that in the last one, what your aspirations are, but you need to define what your future life looks like, what future success looks like for you. All right. So, goals, obviously, there's more to goal setting than what they talk about in New Year's resolutions. I think in about 20 days or so, you'll stop seeing the posts on social media about New Year's resolutions. But by the time you get to the end of quarter 1, you're going to already be setting up new goals if you follow these steps that I've talked about here. Now that you know the importance of prioritizing your goals, making your goals clear, saying it out loud to other people, so that way, not only do you hold yourself accountable, but other people will be looking to you to hold yourself accountable. So now you're the hero for the people that's looking to you. Now you can make progress in this cannabis industry. And I'm also going to say this, I kind of mentioned it early before, but cannabis is stigmatized, period. This is not for the faint of heart, period. So these tips aren't really tips. It's more of a requirement. It's more of a requirement. You need to set goals for yourself so you don't get lost in this space that has no boundaries already in place. Everything is literally being made up at fly by night. Whoever comes up with the next big thing and has the most amount of money can figure out how to do things most efficiently. Those people are going to be winners. But you can't let those things discourage you. And as long as you are setting goals that are designed for you and not by anybody else, you will be successful. All right? You will be successful. If you're dealing with me, we will make sure that we are successful, which is why I hold that Monday night, 7 p.m. mastermind meetup, because that's what we're there to do, right? We're there to support each other, give each other a solid foundation, share, network. It's not just about me talking. If I just want to talk, I'll do a YouTube video, which is why I'm doing this now, right? I want y'all to talk. I want you all to gain your skills up. I want you all to secure your expertise and have a solid foundation for what it is that you're trying to offer. This is what I want you to do, so that way we can shift healthcare perspectives forward, right? So the next training course is January 20th. It's about a week from recording. Hopefully I get this video uploaded in the next day or so, but it's about a week for registration. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is, who suffers if you don't achieve your goals? The answer to that is your sample avatar. Give him or her a name. to find her beyond the demographics. Mine's name is Jade. And that way, when you communicate beyond yourself, you'll know exactly who you're talking to, why you're doing it, and being able to make another step towards your goals. So, my name is Ashley. I'm from Cannabis Nursing Solutions. You can email me at gratitude@cannabisnursing-solutions-llc.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen to what I had to offer today. I hope this is of service to you. Just put a little emoji in the comment. Put a little leaf emoji. You know, the little leaf emoji in the comments, and just let me know that you got to the end of the video. Anyway, have a blessed day. I will talk to you soon.